What up, people? It's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast. I'm coming to you guys live from coast to coast. It's your boy. I'm Chris the Don One. Welcome, welcome, welcome to my channel. As always, rate, comment, subscribe. Share this with a friend, family, as well as a follower. Let's get this YouTube channel lit in the YouTube algorithm. You heard me? So, what's up, people? What's up, people? How y'all living? How y'all living? Okay. So, got another wild story for you guys based on a true story. You know what? I'm going to change the title from Let's Chat to Based on a True Story. All right. So, a lot of you guys are wanting me to tell you about, some stories about my life. Some of these stories that I'm telling y'all, they're 100% true, first and foremost. And they can be funny, entertaining, and informational, all wrapped in a pretty bow. Okay? So, without further ado, let's get into today's story time. Story time, story time, story time. So, I'm going to tell y'all the time. I'm going to basically tell y'all the time when when I was young, I was super freaking naive. I was freaking naive. I believed anything. All right, and I got it from my mom. My mom instilled in me being naive. She would tell me all these stories about the world is yours, and if you work hard enough and go to school and learn hard, and you'll get you a good job, and a white picket fence, a woman, a wife on the side, and two kids. She was preaching that nonsense to me. Okay, but at the time, I'm young and I'm naive. I'm believing everything what my mama is telling me. Okay, she was also telling me when I graduated out of high school that she has a scholarship set up for me because she used to be in the military. She used to be a military nurse. So she said, "Hey, when this is what you can work for. As far as your schooling, you graduate from high school, uh, you get your degree. I mean, you get your high school diploma, and then the sky's the limit for you. You can go to any college of your choosing." Okay, because I had dreams and aspirations, and I had these dreams and aspirations since I was a young pup. Okay, I had. Now I know a lot of people are going to laugh about this. Okay, I had the dream of being the first African American astronaut. Okay. Now, when I was young, I didn't put the hyphen African American on it. I just wanted to be an astronaut because I would see films and movies, and I would just, I was so astonished about space and, space traveling and, outer space and things of that nature because my mind, my mindset was surrounded by science fiction. So I had dreams and aspirations of being an astronaut. Okay, uh, but my father, even though my mom, she embedded her naiveness into me. My father was realistic. Okay, my father was realistic and he was bold. My father would say things to you that you need to hear. He didn't try to sugarcoat it or none of that stuff. And he's, as I'm telling my mom I want to be an astronaut, he's looking at me and he's giving me that look like, what's up? Hey, how you doing? How you doing? What's up, big? What's up, big? Hold on. What is that? Big who? Hold up. Let me see if I can read your name, man. Jesus. Whoa, what's up, Wilson? Oh, you got the thumbs down? Oh, man, come on, Wilson. What's up, big? How you doing? So, just allow your boy to continue with the story. I promise you it's going to get entertaining. Okay? So where was I? Yeah, so my father was realistic. And my father would tell you things you needed to hear. And he basically told me, look, I don't know why you want to be an astronaut. That is not going to happen. Okay? No how, no way. I don't care how much schooling you go to. There's nowhere in the world your tall tale is gonna be in a rocket ship. Okay. Now, as I got older and reality started seeping in, I I put two and two together that I don't think I'm gonna be able to achieve that dream because of two things. I think two things was going to keep me from um, becoming an astronaut. One is the schooling part, because you have to go to college, you have to have certain type of degrees. You also have to be in the military, and I wasn't down for no military stuff. You know, my brother uh, went to the army. I wasn't a military guy. Okay, so and two, and most importantly, I'm too big. How many astronauts you know that are 6'5", 6'6"? Neil Armstrong, I don't know how tall Neil Armstrong is, but I'm thinking Neil Armstrong, ain't no way Neil Armstrong is over 6 foot tall. Okay? So I felt like those two reasons was going to, limit me to becoming an astronaut. I think more to the effect of I wasn't going to go to military, and I was smart. I don't think I would be that smart staying in school and being an astronaut. It's not like a 9 to 5 job. You have to be chosen to be an astronaut. Not everybody can be an astronaut. But once again, when you're young, you don't think of all those other factors. Like I'm pretty sure there was kids when I know there's kids now, and when I was a kid, other kids didn't have those dreams like becoming an astronaut. Some of my friends wanted to be in sports, wanted to play football, wanted to play basketball. Okay, and as a kid, you don't see the realistic uh, you don't see how realistic that probably can be very challenging for you, because not everybody can play football, not everybody can play basketball, and there are certain factors that uh, you don't see as a kid that when you get older you see. Not everybody's going to get the opportunity to play sports, and not professional sports, and not everybody's going to get the opportunity to become an astronaut. Okay, but as a kid, you don't see none of those factors. You just living your life, your kid life, and you living your dream. That was my dream until I got a little older. Until I got to like when I was a teenager, I said, nah, that ain't gonna happen, fam. Until I got some more. Basically, when you get more information, you get more details, you find out that wasn't gonna happen for me. But my father knew day one that wasn't gonna happen to me. And I should have just listened to my father. Okay. So basically, um, the, my mama instilled with me that the world is perfect. The world's going to give you opportunities. The world is going to give you chances, and if you work hard enough, you will get these opportunities. That's what my mom instilled in me when I was a kid, and I believe that all the way up until I was a teenager. And and the mistakes I made from a teenager to a young adult, reality started seeping in that ain't how life is. That's not how the world works. The world is a cruel and cold place. Okay, just because you go to college and you get your education, that don't necessarily mean you're gonna be a millionaire. Okay, and just because you work hard, you can work hard at a factory for like 40 years. That don't mean that there's a retirement at the end of the road, and that doesn't mean that you invested at this job. Now this job is laying people off, and you one of those people that they lay off. So again, those other factors I didn't realistically know when I was a kid. When I got older, I knew that, oh man, there's some other factors you have to take. You have to be realistic about. Okay, I say all that to say this. So as a young adult, I'm gonna tell y'all the three stories that woke me up. The three stories that woke me up, and they all involved a crackhead, a dope fiend, someone that's addicted to drugs. And these stories shaped me to the person that I am today. Should I listen to my father? Yes, I probably should have listened to my father. I would have probably been wise enough, and definitely I would have been wise enough. I wouldn't have made these mistakes. But sometimes you have to learn through your mistakes, and I learned through my mistakes. So I'm gonna tell you the first mistake I made, and I kept making mistakes until I said to myself, "Okay, this ain't what the world what my mom described me about the world, that ain't realistic. That's, you know, rainbows and sunshine and all this unicorn, all that stuff that my mom that was putting in my head, that's not realistic about how the world works. Okay. So, story number one. All right. So I got a car. I got my own car. My own car. And my father would tell me, like, take care of your car will take care of you. Okay, make sure it's got an oil change. My father was telling me everything about the car. Now he's telling me all this, but I'm not soaking none of this information in. I'm thinking of it. When he's telling me this, I'm in another world talking about, oh man, I got my own car. I can hang out with my friends a little bit more. I can drive out late at night. Get me a shorty, get me a baddie. I'm thinking about what the car's going to do for me instead of what I'm going to do for my car to keep my car. So as he's telling me, it's coming kind of boring to me. All right. So my car needed brakes. So any reasonable adult would have went to the brake shop, would have went to a mechanic, would have went to the dealership and gotten their brakes taken care of. Okay? But I wanted to do it on the low. I wanted to do it on the cheap. So I'm telling my father, like, yeah, my car is squeaking a lot. I don't understand. Every time I press the brake pad, it squeaks. And my father was telling me, it sounds like you need some brakes. I said, brakes? I haven't had the car long enough. So me and my dad went to my car. I drove it around the block. I stopped at the stop sign. He said, "Yep, you needed brakes because that's where the squeaking sound's coming from." So he's telling me, "Oh, you can go here, you can go there. They will fix it." He was telling me reasonable places, you know reasonable businesses. Okay, so as I'm going calling these places, I find out getting brakes is not cheap. It is not cheap at all. Okay. And I'm looking at my car as what can my car do for me instead of what can I do for my car? It's not registering to me that if you take care of your car will take care of you in the long run. I'm looking at the car as, okay, what how is this car going to get me to point A to point B? That's how I'm realistically looking at it. All right. So, thanks for the thumbs up. Thanks for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. So, my dad telling me all these places. So I'm telling my friends, yeah, I'm gonna need some brakes for my car, blase, blase. And my friend was telling me, well, there's you could do that, or you can go for the cheap and get a shade tree mechanic to install your brakes. I said, a shade tree mechanic. So he said, yeah, just there'd be some guys out in the hood that works on cars. All you got to do is get the brake pads and get brake fluid, and then they'll fix the car. You don't even need tools. They'll have the tools and everything. So I'm saying, word? I said, so where you find these shade tree mechanics at? All right, so he's telling me, well, there's an AutoZone on Monroe. Okay, if anybody knows where Monroe is in Cashville, Tennessee, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Monroe is not that far from downtown. All right, he said if you go to that AutoZone across the street from Kroger, there's there's plenty of shade tree mechanics just posted up around AutoZone. And so I pull up start car making the squeaking sound. And before I can introduce myself to any of them, one of them came flying to me. He's saying, "Hey, sound like your car needs some brakes." I said, "Well, that's what I'm here for. I'm trying to see if someone can fix my car because I need brakes." And he said, "Oh, I can do that." And I said, "Well, so how much you charge?" He said, "If you give me $30, I'll put the brakes on. I'll bleed your brakes. I even add more brake fluid if needed." And I'm going like, "Word?" He said, "Yeah." So I'm thinking he's a solid dude. Nobody in the AutoZone parking lot is saying, "No, don't trust him. He's foul," or whatever. Okay. No one's not saying, "Hey, don't trust him." Okay. So I said, "So what do you want me to do this at? You want to do this at AutoZone?" He said, "No, you can't do it at AutoZone. You can't work on cars at AutoZone." But he had a spot. So we drove. I went to his spot. I'm, sitting next to the car, and I'm watching him doing his thing. Okay. He's putting the brake pads on. Everything looks, legit. Now, I don't know how to put brake pads on. I don't know the ins and outs of brake pads or how you install brake pads. But from what I gathered, seems like he's doing a good job. So he's done putting the brakes on my car. So I said he did so much of a good job, I gave him 40 instead of 30. I said, "You can keep the change." He said, "I appreciate you doing this for me." All right. So I said, "Do you want me to drive you back to AutoZone?" He said, "No, if you drive me to I forgot the name of the projects. They're not too far from AutoZone. So if you just stop me there, I'm good." All right. So I stopped him. Everything's on the up and up. Brakes are cool, everything's all good. All right. Uh yeah, Big already done said what's up to you. Okay. I do appreciate you giving me the thumbs up. Okay. So as I'm driving, everything's good. And then I came to a stop. Now, when I came to the stop, it made a funny sound. I have never heard this sound before. I'm like, wonder what that's about. All right. So stoplight turns green. I start driving. Now, as I'm driving, heading back home, okay, there's like this turn. There's like a real sharp turn. If you drive real fast, you can pretty much run off the road, but I wasn't driving real fast. So I'm preparing myself. I'm trying to slow down. So as I'm trying to slow down, I notice I have to mash my foot all the way down to the floor of the brakes. And I'm going like, what gives? Because normally when you hit your brake pad, you don't have to put the brake lever to hit the floor. So I'm going like, man, this is weird. Like, what the hell's going on? But it did slow down. All right. So as I make my turn and I head straight, and I say like a block away, there's a stop sign. Okay. So as I'm approaching the stop sign, I try to hit my brakes again. The car would not stop. Fam, the car would not stop. I got kind of scared, because I'm going like, man, what happened to I keep pumping the brakes. They wouldn't stop. So I drove past stop. Luckily, there was no other cars. I drove right past the stop sign. So I'm saying I'm still trying to get the brakes. Brakes are not, something's happening to the brakes. Okay. Then I start smelling some a burning smell from outside the car. So I said, I need to go home and stop this car. But I couldn't stop the car because the brakes were not working. So luckily there was like a ditch. It was like a little small ditch. And I pulled over into the ditch, and I figured if I just let the car hit the ditch, maybe it'll slow it down enough. Okay. And then the only problem I would have from there is how to get the car out the ditch. All right. I'm going into the ditch. The car starts going out of control. So I started panicking. So immediately I grabbed the emergency brake. And when I grabbed the emergency brake, I barely squeezed on it, and the car finally stopped. So I had to basically use my emergency brake all the way home. Okay. And then when I got it home, I parked it. Luckily, when I parked it, I didn't have to go into reverse or none of that stuff. Okay. So I'm expecting the car. Come to find out, every part of the brake pad is gone. Okay. I don't know what he was doing that whole time I was watching. Maybe he thought the it was my brakes was a jigsaw puzzle, and he was just placing the parts in. He wasn't securing the parts by screwing them in or nothing like that. So now I don't have no brake pad. I don't bought brake pads. I look, there's no brake pads. There's no brake pads. There's no rotor. I mean, all that spit's gone. Okay, no rotor, a caliber. It's a caliber. All right. So long story short, I had to go to a real shop for them to put my brakes in. And you know how you get the mechanics that tell you what's wrong with your car? You already done told them the story. Like, I don't have no brakes. I got someone to work on my car. I don't think they did it right. Of course they didn't do it right. And now I'm here for you to, do the right job. So I got one of the mechanics. I don't know if he was trying to be a smart ass or what. So he would come in, he would tell me every 5 minutes, like what's going on with my car. Like, yeah, we're gonna put brake pads on. Hey, did you know you didn't have no brake pads? Yes, I know I don't have no brake pads. Okay, he'll come back, he'll go back into the thing, come back 10 minutes later. Hey, did you know you also don't have no caliber? Yes, I know I don't have no caliber. We just went through all this stuff. I told you. I went to a shade tree mechanic. I thought he was fixing my car. He did more harm than good. Okay. I done told him the whole story, front, back, whatever. So finally got my brake pads. I ended up spending almost $1,000 on these brake pads because on my brake. Because oh shit. The whole brake system was effed up. All right. Almost spent $1,000. Because not only I needed brakes in the front of the car, I needed brakes in the back of the car. Okay, and that's the first time I ever knew, once again, when you are clueless and you naive, you just think that they're just brakes on the front of the car. Oh no, there's brakes on the back of the car. I didn't even know that. All right. So I got to get the back brakes fixed and the front brakes fixed, plus the parts that were what was loosened out of my brake pad. Now they're on the street somewhere. Okay. So that's my first time. And you think you will learn from that, but no. Did I learn from that mistake? No, I just kept making more mistakes. Okay. So here's the second time. Okay. You can learn a lot from a dope fiend. All right. You know, they can be a nuisance. They can be a hindrance. But I'm telling you, you can learn a lot from a dope fiend. All right. Now, second time, I'm not proud of what I'm about to tell y'all. I am not proud of this story. I really don't want to tell you guys this. It's really freaking embarrassing, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all guys anyway. Okay. So, I was moving out of the hood. All right. I got my own apartment. I got a better job. So I'm moving up out of the hood. So these rundown apartments. But I paid the rent for the rundown apartments a month ahead. So even though I'm moving out, you know, theoretically I could stay there for 30 more days. But I wanted her to get up out of the hood. Okay. I was happy. I got my own apartment. I got my own place. I got a job that's paying me well. Life is good. Okay. I'm still naive, but life is good. All right. So, I'm coming back from work. If you guys don't know my work schedule, I said it in the last live stream. Go check out that live stream. Coming back from work, it was one of them nights where I was thinking with the wrong head. I was really thinking with the wrong head. I should have been, thinking with my big head instead of my small head. But, sometimes it happens. Okay. So, see this shorty. She's a dope fiend. She look alright. I mean, she looks pretty good. I ain't gonna hold you. All right. So I was talking to her. One thing led to another. And I was saying to myself, you can just, bust her out, rush her out in your apartment because, uh, you might as well use it because, anyway, I had another place. Instead of driving her to my new place, we can smash at the old place. Now, I don't got no furniture in it, but it's still an apartment. So, um, I brought her in. We went to the apartment, okay? And I'm thinking, man, I'm going to smash this girl. She's a little short girl. I'm going to smash her. I've seen her before, okay? I've seen her around the way. But, never had the opportunity or, to want to smash her, okay? I knew she was a dope head. I knew all that, all right? So, we walking in now. She's looking around. I'm telling her, like, I'm telling her the rundown. Like, this is my, I used to live here. Well, now I'm moving to another place. And she's saying, oh, okay. There's nobody in here. I said, no, ain't nobody in here. Just me and you. So, I said, you ready? She said, you got the money? I'm going like, oh, snap. I had the money, but it was in the glove compartment box because I got a system. I don't keep the money on me. I put it in the glove compartment box in case stuff goes left, okay? So I said, I'll be right back. At the time, I'm thinking I don't have nothing in the apartment valuable, okay? So I go to the car, look into my glove compartment box, got the money, went back into the house. I'm going back into the house, give her the money. Then she starts acting funny on me. She starts acting flake. She starts scratching herself and stuff. And I'm going like, ew, I don't want to be involved with you. She's just showing me the sign that she may have something. You dig what I'm saying? Have you ever seen a dog scratch itself in the middle of the street? That's what that kind of reminded me of, like a dog scratching itself in the middle of the street, all right? So I told her, you know what? I'm not, interested, just you can just have the money. I'm good. And she said, okay, cool. She left, all right? I didn't know until the next day when I checked to make sure I got everything out of my house. I forgot because I'm looking in my new house. I'm going like, wait a minute. I had a radio. I had like a lot of stuff that I thought I brought to my new house. And, the most important thing, the most valuable thing to me at that time was my car radio. And then it dawned on me like, oh, slap. I left my car radio in the living room closet. So it's no big deal. I'm going to, I haven't turned the key in. I'm going to go back over there and get my radio. I go back in there. The radio's gone. Okay. Now, the windows are everything's locked. Everything's locked solid. So nobody, broke in and took. So I'm going like, I didn't leave the door open. I'm going like, man. And I checked at my other house. Come to find out, I started thinking the last time I was at this place, I was entertaining that dope head. So she done took my money, which I given her the money because I didn't want to, do anything with her because she was up there scratching herself. That shit looked nasty. And then when I went to the car to go get her money, she ransacked my whole apartment, man. She took my radio. She took, I had some money in an ashtray. It was like $3 or $4. She took that. Man, this girl robbed me blind, man. But look, that's the second time. You think after 2 events, I would smarten up and realize the world, you got to quit being so naive about everybody, okay? This third time, I promise you, they say third time's a charm. This third story, I just went on and said, you know what? My dad was right. The world is not what everyone paints it to be, okay? So here's the third thing, okay? So I'm shopping, right? Shopping, mind my own business. And one of my high school friends was shopping too. So, we up here catching up, like, what you doing? I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I got me a job, this, that, the third. Sound like life is good with him. Okay? Like life is good with him. Okay? So I'm going like, all right, well, I'm trying to get up out of here. I just want to shop and go home because I had a long day at work. So I'm finishing shopping. I'm in line, right? Well, I said bye to him, finish shopping, I'm in line. So as I'm in line, I started noticing it's like a bunch of people that worked at this store all started coming to this line that I'm in. So I'm going like, man, why they got all these associates, the manager there? It's a whole bunch of people there. I'm going like, what's going on in this line? I start looking around. I'm thinking, well, maybe it's because of this lady behind me, or maybe it's because of this family in front of me. I'm going, I come to line, and the girl's getting ready to ring my groceries up. The manager said, no, just hold up for 1 minute. He said, sir, can you get out of the line? We want to talk to you. At the time, I'm thinking, what they want to talk to me about? I ain't done nothing wrong. So I said, okay, cool. I ain't even think much of it. I said, cool. So we walked to the customer service desk, and the manager starts talking to me about a shoplifter that they done apprehended. I'm going like, okay. I'm thinking to myself, what the hell does that have to do with me? Because I came in by myself, okay? So come to find out that this shoplifter is saying that they had an accomplice with them, and they kept saying my name, describing me to the T and everything. So I'm going like, I'm telling the manager, well, if you look on your cameras, I was here by myself. I came in by myself. I drove in my own car. They said, you got ID? I said, of course I got ID. So they told me to go into this room because they had to get this sorted out. Now, little did I know, because like I said, I'm naive. Little did I know that they called the police. Okay? So I didn't know they called the police. So I go into the room. I come walking in the room. It's two other guards there, and the guy that I was just talking to that I went to school with there. And I'm going like, hey, what's oh Lord, yeah, oh Lord, right, Ebony? Oh Lord, yeah. But at the time, Ebony, I couldn't put two and two together. Okay, so he's looking at me all quiet and stuff. I said, hey, man, what they got you in here for? And he didn't say anything to me. And I'm saying, okay. So I'm asking the manager, I'm asking everybody in the room, like, why am I here? Said, well, we can't really talk right now. We got to wait for the authorities to come. So they called the police. So, I didn't panic. I didn't freeze. I didn't yell or rage or anything like that. So I'm sitting there waiting for the police because I know for a fact I didn't do nothing wrong. I just came here to shop. That's all I did. Came here to shop. All right. So the police come. Police started talking to the manager because I can see them through the window. Police talking to the manager. Manager pointing. I don't know if he's pointing at me or pointing at my friend. Pointing. The police looks in our direction. Okay. So I'm looking at my friend. I'm going like, hey, man, what's going on, man? Why they got us both in here? So the next thing I know, the police comes in and says, sir, I'm going to need you to go to the manager's office. I want to talk to you. I'm going like, sure, no problem. So we go upstairs to the manager's office, right? And then I sit down, and I said, so what's going on? What seemed to be the problem? He said, well, I'm just going to go on and tell you straight out. So your friend has been shoplifting in this store for a while. I'm going like, okay, I did not know that. So they caught him. They finally caught him. Now, when they asked him, is there anybody else in here that's with him? He mentioned you. I'm like, what? So this fool mentions me in his little shoplifting thing. So normally I would be raging, but I was calm. I was cool, calm, and collected. So I told the officer, like, look, that was my first time ever seeing this guy. The last time I saw this guy was in high school. Yes, we talked in one of the aisles because they showed the camera of us talking. And I said, yeah, I that's, we used to go to high school. That was my first time ever seeing him in a while. We was talking about the good old days, and I went on my way, because the camera shows that I'm walking and I'm still shopping and I'm putting stuff in my cart. I don't, they're not showing me no footage of what he's doing. They just showing me what I'm doing. So I'm telling the officer, I'm like, yeah, I mean, I don't know where y'all get this from that, I didn't know he was coming in here shoplifting, but I didn't have nothing to do with it. So come to find out, they tell me the other half of the story. This fool got me hemmed up with him. This fool saying that me and him was shoplifting. You dig what I'm saying? Now, luckily, there was some factors that played in that eliminated me out this store, and they know this was a bold-faced lie. First and foremost, we didn't come in the same vehicle. That's first off the bat. All right. Number two, I just got off from work. And I told him, you can call my boss. He'll tell you I just got off from work. Okay? So when he was telling his story, he had a lot of potholes in his story. When I was telling my story, I was telling the truth. Okay? So there was no potholes in my story. Okay? So luckily, the manager believed me, the police believed me, and I could still go to the store. I wasn't banned from the store. They went on to apprehend him for shoplifting, and that's the last time I have ever saw him again. I have never seen. I know people are crazy, Ebony. People are crazy. I have never seen this guy before in my life. After that night, I haven't seen him since then. That was like over 10 years ago. I have never seen that guy before. I don't know what he's doing. I don't even know if he's alive. Now, I could easily talk to somebody that was friends with him and find out what's going on, but, why would I do all that? You feel what I'm saying? But that third time, I started being realistic about life. I started being realistic about how the world works. I started being realistic and being a little guarded. Because when I was young, I used to trust everybody. I would trust a total stranger. After these little events, I started being a little bit more grounded, started being more guarded, started, being realistic. Yeah. But, when you young, you don't, when you're young, you just believe what you see on TV and the movies, and you think, oh, that's how the world works. But when you get older, when you become an adult, you start realizing that stuff that you see in the movies and TV, that ain't real. None of that stuff is real. Okay? So I got out of the dream world. And like I said, my mom, God rest her soul. Oh, thank you. God rest my mama's soul. But I feel like my mom was on that tip. She would give everyone a second, third, fifth chance, because that's the type of person she was. You know what I'm saying? But my father, he was bold. My father would just tell you the truth, even if you don't want to hear the truth. My father would tell you the truth. But after those three stories, I don't trust people like that no more. I don't give people, just trust them right off the bat. You have to earn my trust. Now I respect anybody. You dig what I'm saying? I respect anybody. But when it comes to trust, I don't. No, I don't just give my trust away like that. You have to earn some trust with me before I start trusting you. And even when you earn some trust, I'm still a little guarded. You know what I'm saying? Cause I got burnt so many times, you know. So yeah, that was a good story. I like to appreciate everyone that came by. I like to appreciate everyone that hit the like button. If you guys want me to do more story time, just comment in the comment section. Tell me, hey man, I got some more stories. But yeah, uh, this started 3 days ago. This guy told me to, you should start telling stories on your live streams. And the first night, I got like a lot of people, you know, to the live stream. The second night, it was modest, but I still had a lot of retention in that live stream. And today I got 4 likes. No, if I can just average 5 likes a live stream, I will continue to do it. But yeah, I really do appreciate everyone that came in the building, subscribed, just listened to me, and I'm gonna have some more stories. I'm gonna try to come out with an. I'm gonna try to. There's a story I want to tell you guys, but this story is, man, this is not no kid type story. This is no fun type story. You dig what I'm saying? So I'm picking stuff out of the membrane that is PG-13 type stories, because the story I want to tell y'all is kind of graphic. You dig what I'm saying? So I gotta be careful with that story. Maybe I'll tell that at a later date when I, iron out the details and iron out the things I'm going to say. But yeah, I really do appreciate y'all coming by. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow with another live stream. It's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast. I'm coming to you guys live from coast to coast. It's your boy. I'm Chris the Don One. I'm gone. Deuces. Thanks for everyone that came by. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. Thank you.